Welcome to the Daily Dispatch. First up, we're covering news of Dell phasing out production of chips in China by 2024 and what it might mean for the other countries. Our next headline will be covering the United Nations taking note of the special status of the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem coming under threat. And for our final headline, we'll be breaking down more developments in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. We're here to give you the news and to help you infer the world around you. I'm Tayyaba Nisar, and here is your Daily Dispatch. Dell Technologies has announced that it plans to phase out the use of chips made in China by 2024. The company has direct suppliers to reduce the amount of Chinese-made components due to the growing US-China tensions. Dell and other competitors are urging their suppliers to redistribute the manufacturing and assembling of the electronic modules and printed circuit boards to other countries such as Vietnam. The development comes in the backdrop of Biden administration's decision to put YMTC, a China-based chip manufacturer, on a trade blacklist, along with 21 other companies with expertise in the AI chip sector. Moreover, the US last year announced $280 billion Chips and Science Act 2022 to promote the research and manufacturing of semiconductors in the United States and to decrease the reliance on East Asia for chips, which produces nearly 75% of the world's semiconductor chips. On the other hand, China has planned to roll out investments worth $143 billion financial support package for the semiconductor industries. These developments suggest that the US-China competition is intensifying as the US-based businesses seek to move their investments out of China into other regional countries. As the global power competition between the US and China increases, many countries in Asia and beyond are seeking to avoid being caught up in the US-China rivalry. While this can create the possibility of discouraging competition, countries may try to attract the US and Chinese businesses to other countries for investment. Pakistan, in its first ever national security policy, also speaks of subscribing to a similar policy and may equally try to attract such manufacturing partnerships from the US, China, and other Asian partners. Next, we'll take you to the United Nations Security Council, which has raised concerns over the crumbling status quo at the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound in Jerusalem, after Israeli National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir made a visit to the sensitive site, which Palestinian leadership has called unprecedented provocation. It was the first such visit by an Israeli minister in years. The compound holds religious importance for both the Muslims and the Jews. It is the third holiest site for the Muslims, while Jews also revere the site, calling it the Temple Mount. The status quo at the compound allows only Muslims to pray at the site. Through an arrangement formalized in 1994, Jordan shares the joint custodianship with Israel of the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound. Jordan is its guardian, whereas Israel takes care of the security. Since the coming into power of a right-wing coalition government in Israel, there have been many fears that illegal settlements will increase in the occupied territories, besides encouraging the right-wing Jewish groups, which have long called for changing the status quo at the Al-Aqsa compound and allowing the Jewish prayer at the site. Some extreme groups even support the demolition of the mosque and supplanting it with a Jewish temple. Palestinians are fearful of the Israeli government's intention of changing the status quo of the Muslim holy site and its national symbol as well. It is worth recollecting that the Second Intifada resistance movement erupted when the former Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon, in an act of provocation, visited the Al-Aqsa Mosque in 2000. Haram al-Sharif is the microcosm of the Palestinian movement, as it generates and empowers Palestinian resistance and unites both the secular and religious forces. We'll bring you more updates from the Ukraine-Russia war. President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, has ordered the Russian military to observe a 36-hour-long ceasefire on the account of the Orthodox Christmas, urging the Ukrainian counterpart to do the same. Volodymyr Zelensky, Ukraine's president, has rejected this offer, accusing Russians of using Christmas as a cover to bring ammunition and military closer to Ukraine's positions, especially in Donbass, where Russia was aiming to stop the forward movement of the Ukrainian forces. Now, Ukrainian presidential advisor Mikhailo Podolyak has demanded that Russia should first leave Ukraine's territory, only after which there will be a temporary truce. In other news related to the war, in a joint US-German statement, Germany has decided to provide Ukraine the Patriot missile batteries, a few weeks after the US pledged the Patriot missile batteries to Ukraine. Now, Germany is already supplying military equipment to Ukraine, along with the other European countries. When the US gave Patriot missile batteries to Ukraine, Russia had warned that they would be a legitimate target, calling the move provocative, which could warrant a reaction from Russia. In our previous dispatches, we told you about the olive branch extended by Putin towards all parties involved, and the peace summit proposed by Zelensky. The talks of peace have run parallel with greater military aggression on both sides, suggesting that the war, unfortunately, isn't likely to die down anytime soon, and that both the parties and their allies are only likely to continue bolstering their respective military capabilities. Next on the dispatch, an Afghan newspaper, Hashte Subh Daily, reported that Pakistan bombed TTP targets in the Salala neighborhood in Nangarhar province of Afghanistan. The Foreign Office of Pakistan rejected this claim as utterly baseless and malicious. Pakistan has been raising concerns regarding the increasing terrorist activities of the militant outfit Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan in the country, from their bases from across the border in Afghanistan with the Afghan Taliban. Now, the Afghan Taliban, however, denied the use of Afghan soil against Pakistan, with raising concerns from Pakistan and the international community that they're falling short of their promises. A few days ago, the National Security Committee of Pakistan, the top security body, announced there would be zero tolerance for terrorism and reaffirmed its determination to take on any and all entities that resort to violence, in a message to the TTP. Now, the militant outfit also warned the country's top leadership, Prime Minister Shahzaib and Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, of taking action against them for declaring war against the TTP. Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan has conducted at least 150 attacks in 2022 alone, which increased after they unilaterally ended the ceasefire agreement in November. If misinformation continues to be reported, there will be a possibility of increased antagonism and a more severe threat being faced by Pakistan from the TTP. On to some good news for the honey lovers. The United States has approved the use of the world's first vaccine for honeybees. The vaccine was created by Dell Animal Health, a US biotech company, and will protect the bees from a bacterial disease called the foul brood disease. The disease originated in the United States more than a decade ago, and it has spread since to the other parts of the world as well. Now, bees play a significant role as pollinators, responsible along with the birds and bats for about a third of the world's crop production, according to the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization. Bees have seen an alarming decline due to their habitat loss, pesticide use, and climate change, fueling the concerns regarding their numbers and the resultant impact on food security in agriculture. This development raises hope for the vaccines for other diseases affecting hives as well. And lastly, Alan Gall of Hudson Rock, an Israeli cybersecurity monitoring firm, has reported that over 200 million Twitter user email addresses have been leaked. The breach, it is feared, could lead to additional hacks, phishing scams, and doxing, as the hackers may attempt to use or sell this data on the dark web. The Gall has termed the leaks as the most significant. These revelations were first made by Gall on December 26th on LinkedIn. Twitter so far has yet to respond to these allegations or announce that an inquiry was launched to investigate or undertake the corrective measures. There are reports that the leak could have taken place as early as 2021, before the takeover by Elon Musk. In an earlier revelation, the scale and scope of breach was reported at 400 million email addresses. The breach could attract the attention of Data Protection Commission in Ireland and the US Federal Trade Commission to investigate the scope of the leaks breach. The breach may also get the regulators from other regions to direct Twitter to investigate the breaches and corrective measures it has taken since or plans to take to prevent the recurrence of such incidents. Now, moreover, this revelation is likely to raise the concerns about the privacy of user data, and not for the first time. The Cambridge Analytica scandal revealed the collusion of tech companies and powerful political parties to shape the voting behavior and support the political campaigns by having the access to the user data. That's all, folks. We'd be happy to receive your feedback and suggestions. We'll be back tomorrow with more bite-sized news that keeps you up to date with what's happening in the country, the region, and the globe. I'm Tayyaba Nisar Khan, and this was your Daily Dispatch.